quite live yet. Oh, hey, there we are. What's up, Tori Roze?
Not a mucho. Just getting ready to tell these people about all this stuff we have to tell them about.
We're going to tell people about the stuff and the things
About
and
the
the
things and the
stuff.
stuff.
Well, hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Carissa Lynn Renner. You are here with me talking with my colleague and my friend and my sister, Tori Roze. She is a super badass vocal coach. I said vocal coach. What's a vocal coach?
It's kind of like a movement and a vocal coach, maybe?
A vocal coach. You teach vocalists to be moguls. I like that.
Yes.
So we're going to hang and chit chat. Let us know if you come on live. I want to know who's here. Type it in the comments. And above this feed, there should be a little link you can click so that we can see your name. You have to give StreamYard permission to see your name. So if you see that and you want to give us a hello, we want to give you a shout out. We want to acknowledge you and hang. But yeah, this is a very casual hang. We're just going to riff a little we're going to riff a little bit about what it means to sing riffs and runs, because I think there's a lot of mystery around them, and certainly it's not my strong suit as a singer. I like to do it, but I know a lot of people who are way better at it than me. So anyway, let me introduce you guys properly to Tori, and then we'll move forward. So you guys probably know me. I'm Carissa. I own the Bold Vocal Academy, and I teach singers, mostly contemporary singers, a combination of vocal science plus personal development and all the woo-woo shit in between. And we come out with like organic artistry and magnetic confidence. It's pretty amazing. And Tori has been coming into my world like serendipitously in such cool ways over the last few years. And I remember the first time I really, really connected with her one-on-one. I was like, we got to do a broadcast together, like a podcast, which we did with Catherine Beeks a while back.
A few years ago.
And now you're kind of in my world, which I freaking love. And so recently, Tori has led 2 workshops for the Bold Vocal Academy. She did a songwriting workshop and a music and singing as healing workshop. And now this week, we're going to do riffs and runs. And she's an amazing teacher, an amazing singer, an amazing performer, coach, actress, all of the things. So I'm going to let you talk for a minute, Tori. Meet Tori Roze if you don't already know her.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So, how are you doing?
Oh, and I forgot to say that you are the owner of Messy Cat Music.
So boom. There it is. Here's the little logo thing. Boom. That's my cat, Mozart.
A little rainbow cat.
Little boom. It's weird because I'm like doing the opposite. I'm going the opposite way on this camera. Welcome to my mind, everybody. So I'm very happy to be here, very happy to help out, very happy to talk about things that I've been doing, and we've all been doing our whole lives, actually, because, does anybody remember being a baby? Because, we've all been riffing since we were babies. It's just kind of something we do to explore that there voice that we got. So we're just here to talk about nature, the nature of your body and the nature of kind of letting go and being able to let go so that you can do these things called riffs, called runs, called improvisation. It's a lot easier than you think if you just get out of your own way, kind of deal. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about that. And I'm here to break it down.
Well, I think people often think when they think about riffs and runs, I think of mega pop divas. I think of R&B singers, which is also not my wheelhouse necessarily. And it's how do they do that? Oh my gosh, it's this mind-blowing thing. And I think when you really break it down, it's not so mind-blowing so much as like you said, getting willing to try to let go. I definitely think there is some technique in there. It's not just randomness.
Don't just stab it. Stab in the dark. You'll find stuff, but also you don't have to stab that far into the dark. You can let a little light in there, a little bit of actual knowledge, a little bit of actual technical come on in to assist you there, because that's what it's there for. That's what technique is there for. It's there for the assist. It's not there to do the job. It's there for the assist, so you can do the job.
Oh, that's great.
you know?
So what techniques do we need? Like what technique what is the
I
technique to
say,
learn?
so two things in my opinion, and this is just my opinion. Like everybody has their own way of getting to things, making things happen, and you can be told by 10 different people the same thing that's going to hit you one time from the right person, whatever it is. So I'm just saying, I'm throwing this out there. I think that it is imperative for you to get out of your head and into your body, get into
Mm.
your emotional self, get in touch with what is actually happening, because riffs and runs and improvisations should not be these superfluous, hey, look at me technical moments. They should be these, I am moved by the spirit and I feel the need to emote through sound. It should never
Oh,
be, hey,
snap.
look at me. It should be, hey, check out this thing that I don't even have words for, or maybe you have words for, but it's an explicative, it's an explosion, it's an emotive moment, it's a catharsis, it's a it's emotional climax. You
Mm.
know, it's that's why it's there, or you're just like you're feeling it, right? And do you need technical stuff for that? Sure. But I think number one, you need to be emotionally in touch with what it is that you're doing.
Man, this is why I love having you come around, Tori, because like that's I have an understanding of that in my own awareness, but like that is not how I explain it. And I think that is so valuable and so true. And like you said, every time somebody teaches you the same concept from a different set of eyes, ears, voice, perspective, brain, some of them just click in for it just clicks in more from somebody. Like I can hear the same message 50 times and then one time somebody says it and it just sinks in. And I think, that's one of the best ways I've ever heard it explained is just that it's an emotive thing versus a glitzy glammy thing, because I think of it like that. I'm like, oh, this is like those sprinkles on top of singing. This is that cherry on the sundae, right? And if you had a sundae that had 50 cherries on it, like that would probably be a little overkill, not so great.
Yeah, then it takes away from it. But then you have like a piece of music like Great Gig in the Sky where it is nothing but emotion and vocalizing and it's pure feeling, literally like raw pure emotion,
Man, that song is
leaning into
gnarly.
that. And so are words a necessary thing when you're talking about any of this? No, absolutely not, because you need to think of yourself in terms of being like this. Imagine a piece of classical music. Yeah, there is a lead instrument. You are that lead instrument. No words are necessary. We listen to music without words all day long. And I tell you what, do you feel something? You sure do. This is what music does. It toys with our emotions. So imagine you're that lead violin. Imagine you're that lead trumpet. Imagine you're that lead at whatever it is, and remove the lyrical importance of all of that and connect with the musical importance of it all. Can you say what it is that you're trying to say without words being the preeminent thing that you're worrying about or thinking about? And it's really about just engaging with your body and how that music is making you feel. Music is a
Mm.
feeling thing.
So I like this question from Bonnie because she's like, please, I'm here for the technique. For those of us that use our heads first, for example, cerebral people, having an idea of how to execute definitely helps. And I agree with you, Bonnie, because if you've ever just tried singing riffs and runs out of the blue, some people kind of can, and other people, it's like there is some technicality to it.
Right.
There are scales that work really well. There are scales you can learn that will help you know what notes to pick within what, chord structures. There are, certain syllables that sing well. I know Bonnie has experimented with scatting a little bit on her record that just came out, which, by the way, y'all go listen to Bonnie Nichols.
Woo!
She just released an EP that sounds so good, and I'm so proud of it. I helped her with it from day one, and she created this thing that is beautiful, and she's just, I'm really proud of it, Bonnie. So everybody go listen to Bonnie on Spotify. You're welcome.
So
So what do you think about this one?
addressing that question, so the thing about there's kind of two schools of thought, I would say, in terms of where you live musically, and it really takes a healthy dose of both in order for everything to kind of come together beautifully and for it to have an awareness for everything around it. You either live in your head or you live in your heart, baby, and that means you are either a technician or you are intuitive. It's pretty much that's it. There's no other way around it. And with that in mind, know where you live. So if you are cerebral, right, you have to know how to also get in touch with the lower parts of yourself as well. Besides knowing the technique is beautiful, but what moves you more is someone coming from this raw, real place more than a technical place. You can listen to people do technical stuff for a period of time, and then you get over it. You can listen to somebody come from their heart all day long. There's a huge difference on the intake. There's a huge difference in the output. So you have to connect first with why are you here doing music? Why are you here? What is so important to say that you have to sing it? And that puts you in an emotional spot first. It's that. Then technical comes in with the words. Then also technical comes in with, okay, where do I get these ideas to play with in order to be able to improvise? Well, that just like Carissa was saying, it has to do with playing around with vowels, shapes. It literally everything before you slap words on top of it. If you're just playing with a vocal melody, guess what it is before you slap words on top of it? It's a run. Guess what it is before you slap words on top of it? It's an improvisation. It's all of those things before we put words on top of anything. So keep that in mind. You're more creative than you think. Give yourself more cred. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think if you're somebody who's really looking, and I did a live stream about this last week. If you're in my community, you can go back and watch that replay. If you're looking for something to really bite down on here and you're like, I can't just do this from the heart. I need the thing, I need the tangible. I always recommend starting with learning how to sing the pentatonic scale. It goes over just about anything. And I also recommend doing agility exercises with like a D or a G, ga, 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 goo, 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 da, 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 do, do, do. Because I think a lot of times you have an idea melodically what you want to do, but when you take away those words, sometimes it becomes kind of this vocal landslide of mush, right? So kind of training, I think the things that you would technically train are singing over chords, and Bonnie's a piano player, so you can just play some simple chords and just oh, that's not perfect, but then I kind of find it. Da, 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 da. You can just swim in the ether until you find kind of a pattern that you like, and know, like what Tori was talking about for me is the same thing. I can listen to somebody sing perfectly, technically perfectly, and it can do nothing for me emotionally. It can actually be quite vanilla and boring. And then I can hear someone make all kinds of little wrong notes and mistakes and do some gnarly stuff, but I enjoy it way more because it's more visceral, more raw, more open. So I think there's a nice blend of the two.
Yeah, exactly right. And you do need a couple of anchors. I would call them anchors of things to be like, all right, these are things that I could go to anytime I want to play with improvisation, and they will be there as my friends, my assists, anytime this is getting in the way and I just can't think of anything.
Yeah, so what are your anchors?
So anchors are vowels. What do we hold out in singing?
Yeah,
vowels.
Yeah. It's really hard to hold out that T vowel.
So when we're talking about that, what does that mean? Well, you could literally hold one note, go through all of the vowels on holding that one note, and not just play with the kind of the shape of your mouth. You could play with the quality of the note. You can be like, oh, I'm going to make this louder. I'm going to make this more quiet. I'm going to add vocal texture. I'm going to take vocal texture away. Whatever it is. So it would be something like this. A-I-O-U. So it's not like vocal improvisation doesn't have to be and riffs and runs and whatever it is. And also we're taking that a step further. Whatever. Like you're gonna find vocal gold in there somewhere. You got to get weird with it. It's really not about controlling every little inch of it. It's about letting go enough to let your body do what it does. Your body's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
You're using your body as an instrument. Hello. So like that changes it's not something that you walk up to every day and you're like boop a doop. It's the same reaction every time. You walk up to your body and you're like, this is how it's feeling today. And this is what's going to come out of it emotionally, vocally, improvisationally, whatever it is. But it's about just paying attention to yourself and letting go. Lean on vowels, baby. We hold vowels out in it doesn't matter what country you are singing your music in, what language you are singing your music in. It is vowels we hold out. It is vowels, vowels, vowels. Why? Because vowels are big and open and beautiful. So pick a vowel and move that stinking thing around. Oh, let's talk about oh. And it's amazing overusage in every riff around the world. Let's go, baby. And note and mess with the quality of that note. It's that simple. Oh, you know, see what your voice can do. See what you're capable of on just holding something still.
Yeah.
And messing with it.
I love this perspective. I always just enjoy so very much when you bring your magic to our space because, you know, I always think of riffs and runs as so many different notes, as such complicated little patterns. And I think that is part of it. There are complicated little, you know, embellishments and whatnot. But, you know, just this idea, just watching you add texture and change volume and shape the note. In fact, my client Darcy and I, we're working the other day on kind of that side mouth thing. It's like, hey, like it's not always so, you know, and I think when we're first working with vocal clients, at least in my experience, I'm often teaching them these really lengthy vowels and these very proper classical vowels because they come in singing their ooh like ooh and their ah like ah, you know, and so it's like ah, ooh, eh, you know, you're like showing them these lengthy vowels.
Right.
But, you know, what Tori is just doing is showing you that like that's just the building block. That's just the basic DNA of singing vowels. And that, you know, riffs don't necessarily have to be 1,000 notes super fast. They can also be, you know, just emphasis. And seeing Tori sing live, if you haven't had a chance and you're in San Diego or just on YouTube, if you haven't seen Tori sing live, like absolutely go do that. She's a really incredible performer. And you're right. Like when you improvise with her voice, it's so much more than just trills and showing off agility and speed. It's got some real guts to it.
Yeah, it's also like on the technical side, if we want to add a little bit more to where to start there, you got to be a good listener. You have to listen to what's happening in the music. You have to want to be a part of the music. You have to want to be this cohesive part of what is happening on the whole. And when you think about it in terms of that, all of a sudden it becomes a little bit easier. You're like, okay, where does it make sense to throw myself in here too? Deciphering where, you know, so you're not overloading something. Like you were saying, too many sprinkles, too many cherries on the top of something. Where does it feel like it needs it? And what does it need there? What kind of a does it need there? Or what kind of a bringing it down and bringing it in and being self-reflective does it need right there? Whatever it is, whatever you're working on, listen. And as homework for that, listen to a ton of music. Really, listen to a ton of music and do that close listening. Put on the good headphones. You know, like
yeah, that was a big part of my college education. I went to music school, to jazz school, and improvisation was something they taught. Like we had to vocal improv class. Like there's a whole semester dedicated to it. And I didn't even finish music school. I got a degree in English eventually. I was like, this shit is hard and very complicated.
It is.
It is. But also I knew I wanted to be, a commercial singer. I wanted to be a pro singer, a working singer. And they were teaching me basically how to like be either a singing teacher, which essentially I do anyway, or like we were arranging big band stuff, which is really cool. But I was like, I don't really see myself using this. So anyway, all that aside, we had listening homework every day. And I was fortunate enough to go to a university where they had a music library. And it was just like walls of vinyl and all these computer stations with, like all the music sites on them. And now they're much more easy to access than they were then. But vinyl, CDs, tapes, and it was just a library. And then all these scores too. And so it was like we had a certain amount of homework every single week that was just listening. And we had to prove that we listened to it by like, basically reporting back. It wasn't just like bullshit homework. So I agree. And I think listening, as far as riffs and runs go too, I borrow them all the time from singers that I love. Totally. And if you listen to one artist enough, you'll find out that they're doing the same riff a lot and it's okay.
They have their ism. They're like, it's like, oh, there they go doing their thing again. Yeah. Whatever it is that is true to themselves. That is a repeat that it shows up in a lot of their music. Yep. Yeah. I do that too.
Everybody did. And you should. It's a little thing you can reach and pull out of your back pocket at any time and slap on the table. That little wild card. So hey, if you're joining us live, I see a few people popping in. Let us know you're here. Say hello. I'm here with Tori Roze, vocal coach at Messy Cat Music. And she is actually leading a workshop this Thursday for our community over in the Bold Vocal. Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, she's going to lead a workshop where you can actually get your voice involved and get coaching on your riffs and runs and try it out and kind of roll up the sleeves and get in there, which is the only way to learn how to sing these things, by the way. It's the only way is to do it. You can study and listen and learn scales till you're blue in the face, but until you actually open your mouth and try to improvise, and I guarantee you're going to hit some shitty notes and you're going to fall down a little bit. That's the only way to do it. And so Tori's going to be an amazing guide because she creates such a safe space for that. And she also is fun. Like this is not going to be chastising, serious, that was no good. It's like, you're gonna laugh, maybe you'll cry, but in a good way.
And it's okay. It doesn't matter, like I was saying, right? And it doesn't matter if you are coming from the world of technique or wanting to be from that world of technique, aka head driven, or that world of intuitive, aka heart and gut driven. It's all come on down because we're going to cover it all on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to post a link for that really quick, just in case. I'm going to put it in the comments, and then I'll also put it here on the banner. So this Thursday is the official workshop. If you're not part of the Bold Vocal Academy, it is a $44 drop-in class, and it runs about 60 to 90 minutes, would you say, Tori?
Yeah.
And then if you're a member of the Bold Vocal Academy, it's part of your tuition. It's included, and also if you are not a member of the Bold Vocal Academy, Tori's past 2 workshops are in there. The live stream I did about riffs and runs is in there. All of my core curriculum is in there. Plus we do a group coaching session, a workshop every month. There's a lot of really good benefits. If you'd like to enroll in that, I'm running a special for this workshop where you get a monthly tuition of $44. So for the price of the workshop, you can come in and actually get access to all of the former workshops, all of the teaching I've done over the last 2 years online, and a group community of like-minded singers that you can start to learn with and from. So that's all inside of this link that's posted here, and I just put it inside the comments, so you can either do the drop-in there, or you can also enroll in the whole community there. And if you're already in the community, we love you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. And I know I've gotten great feedback from having Tori guest coach here and there. I know people must be getting sick of me by now. So
Never.
It's good to have a variety. But no, I totally agree. I mean, that's kind of a joke, but at the same time, I know I've had a lot of vocal coaches in my life, and I always get something golden from each of them. And it really benefits people to have a variety of people teaching the same ideas. because well, even just some of what you said today, there's no way I've ever worded it like that, and yet I find it so true in my awareness when you say it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. So I got it. What else should we talk about, Ms. Rose?
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I just have a suggestion for everybody out there. To listen to instrumental music. Listen to instrumental music and try to vocalize on top of it. Each piece of instrumental music that you try to vocalize on top of, it's going to, because the music is different, right? So, and what I'm saying is different genres, classical, rock, it doesn't matter. When you are singing on top of a different piece of music, a different genre piece of music, it brings vocally something different out in you.
Yes.
And it's important to mess around essentially with all these different types of music in order to see what you're vocally capable of, so that you're not limiting bringing in something that you did on top of a piece of classical music and bringing it into your R&B piece and blowing everybody's mind with like just this thing that not only sounds fantastic, but is terribly authentically you.
Terribly authentically you. That would be such a great 3-day workshop or something to do.
Terribly authentically you.
So freaking good. So Bonnie commented that she has an O sound that she holds out in a song, and Tori just gave her an idea of how she can do it differently.
Yay!
Which is amazing, and that's why part of the reason I'm so excited. I mean, I'm not excited to have a break for my clients because I love them so much, but of course I am going to have a baby. I'm going to need a little bit of break from work in general. And Tori's going to be taking on a lot of my clients at that point. Never sick of you. Tori is also amazing. So that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about this too, because Bonnie and I just worked on that song and that oval, I think, if it's the same thing I was thinking about the other day. And yeah, you just kind of playing with your voice there. She's like snapped into place. It's so good. And I love that I have the opportunity to share other coaches with my community who I adore. And I really I'm so grateful for each of you. But and I don't know if that's a mindset that a lot of coaches take on. I don't know if it's a competitive thing out there in the world or not. I think the more the merrier. I think, as long as you're not being fed, as long as someone's credible and on the same page, I'm not going to give you guys coaches that are no good or have a totally different philosophy, but complimentary. And, one thing I want to talk about before we get off, Tori, is you play trumpet, right?
Yes.
So how does that influence how you vocalize, and especially in the context of improv? Because you are an instrumentalist, and I think that gives you a real advantage. It gives you a real, not advantage necessarily like you're going to be better than everybody, but it's a different perspective than someone who's only ever vocalized. So tell me a little bit how your musical ear for trumpet plays into your singing.
I'm so glad that you asked this question.
And you play other instruments too, yeah? Tell me all about you and your music.
I play guitar and I play piano, but both of those, I mean, especially guitar, were ever learned in order to help support me writing vocally.
Right.
So, it's just, I'm like, here it is. Here, somebody who's better. Go play this real quick. But with the trumpet, okay. So the trumpet is the thing that I've played the longest, besides the Volks. All right, I've played the Volks for the longest, but trumpet comes in second place. And in terms of it informing my vocal ability, the thing that it has helped is the listening. It's the listening. It's really when you come from a school of jazz or foundationally jazz, that it forces you to listen. You have to hear all the in-betweens. You have to hear the space. You have to hear where it makes sense. You have to hear what notes are in the thing that you are doing at that time. Can I improvise on the trumpet? No.
That seems actually a pretty tough skill.
I stick to that sheet of music or that memorized, oh, no, you take the song. No, it's cool. Okay. No. I'm like, I'll sing it. I make a mean mouth trumpet or 2 or 7, but also that's not what I do. Yeah. Sorry. And so much of that, yeah, you're exactly right. And I think that so much of riffing, scatting, runs, whatever has to do with impersonating other things that you've heard, other instruments. It could just be a weird sound that you hear in the room, like a typewriter. Like, do you remember that guy from Police Academy who could do like all those sounds?
Oh yeah, he's in Spaceballs too. It's
this
my
is what I'm
favorite.
talking
The
about.
bleeps
Like,
and the poops
get
and the squeaks.
that way with your voice.
Well, that's so, it applies to everything, Tori. Like, that's one of the things that, like, if I could, there's only a few concepts that I would really drive home over and over across the board for singing. And one is like, stop being so afraid to sound bad and just get weird and like play and be so out there and weird, because all those tones, the way people find those tones that they can't find when they're singing is often through quacking or like crying or impersonating a New Jersey person, or like
impersonation will get you everywhere in singing. Mimicry will get you everywhere in singing. I invite you all to pretend like you are a baby with your voice. Absolutely. And they're like all day. They're not scared to vocalize, and you shouldn't be either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're playing with volume, they're playing with tone, they're like, you know, sometimes they're making like they're like, oh, that's cool, that's weird. And they won't stop for like half an hour, and you're like, okay, baby Chewbacca, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, but also, how cool is that you can do that with your voice, baby Chewbacca?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I think as adults we get so damn serious, and especially when
we forget.
When we introduce the idea of learning to sing, because singing is so judgmental. It's got to be good. People are always like, oh, she sucks. Or, you know, we have all these competition shows. We have all these antiquated ideas that like one singer can be better than another. And it's like, I mean, it's like, do you like this tea or that tea? They're both tea, man.
It's just not true. It's personal choice. And some of my favorite singers in the whole wide world are tonally and placement wise some of the weirdest, like Kate Bush, bring it on. Like Joanna Newsom, she sounds like an elf when she sings. Like,
I don't know her. I'll have to listen.
And she's like, I slept all day. And that's her placement. That's me impersonating her. And guess what? Now I know I can do that. And guess what? I can incorporate that into my own stuff.
That's right.
That's exactly case in point. But all those weird vocalists out there, I'm like, yes, because they've given room for people like Lorde to exist and people like Billie Eilish to exist. Like, come on, Tori Amos. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
So good. So I don't want to keep you too long, because I know I obviously respect your time and your energy, and I'm so glad I got to chill with you today.
I like hanging out with you.
I do too. I do too. This is fun. But tell us a little bit, like, what can we expect in the workshop Thursday night? And like, do people need to bring anything? Is this like aimed at any particular type of singer? What do we need to know?
This is aimed at every type of singer. This is basically just to give you some keys to the castle, essentially, on how to unlock working on this stuff and getting out of your own way so that you can work on this stuff. So you can start from a technical place. So you can also start from an emotional place. I'm going to provide you with the tools to do both, because we're all different people and we all have to approach it differently. But just know that everything will be talked about and addressed. You have a question, I will answer that question for you. No problem. And I'm going to give you several exercises in order to just keep you going and flowing, and to keep you exploring your voice.
Does anybody who's in the audience right now have any questions before we sign off? And like, if it's too technical, I might tell you to just wait till Thursday and show up for the workshop, because we don't want to like give away the farm here. But I do want to provide a lot of value, if you know, for free, and if you're here and if you're giving us your energy and attending.
Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Being here live means a ton. So if we have any questions, we'll just
and thank you
hang
for
out
being
for a
here,
moment.
Clarissa.
Thank you. This is fun. We should do this more often.
We should. We should.
So I'm just going to hang for a moment to see if anybody types any questions into the chat. We've got a little delay, of course, because we're streaming. So we'll just kind of hang for a moment. And then, Tori, do you have any live performances coming up or any releases or anything you'd like to share? Any of your own programs too? Anything at all, really?
Well, I always got my voice lessons going on. So if anybody needs any voice lessons who doesn't already have some from Carissa, go ahead and talk to me. Hey.
And many of you will end up by default with her as long as you don't cancel.
Yes, at least momentarily. So. At least momentarily.
Yeah.
But
and actually, no. And Tori, just for anybody watching that might already be my client, if you work with Tori and you're having major breakthroughs and I come back from my leave and you want to stay with Tori, that is an option. So it's not like, okay, I'm back. If you're loving it, you can stay as long as it works for both of you. We'll work it out where you stay on her roster. So that's an option.
That's very nice of you too.
I don't see any questions coming in, so
I don't see any questions either.
Nobody has questions. They already know how to do it.
Things. Hopefully,
we can sing riffs and runs all day by ourselves. We don't need you. Okay, so make sure if you are in my community, please show up Thursday night. Give Tori your love and attention. There's always a replay inside the Bold Vocal Academy. You can watch it at another time. And if you haven't caught the replays of Tori's last 2 workshops, Vocalizing and Singing as Healing, as well as her songwriting workshop, they're both excellent. They're both available in your membership platform. Also, a little housekeeping reminder for those of you who are on the Academy, the platform was updated. You now need to go follow the topics you're interested in seeing. So you'll need to go log in and go to topics and hit follow on anything. I would follow them all. They're all freaking great. But, maybe some interest you more than others. But if you want updates when I post in there and when we have new workshops and stuff, you will need to follow those so you see them in your feed and receive emails about new lessons and things like that. And Thursday night, if you are not a member, go ahead and click that link in the comments. It's also right there on our screen. And you can drop in for $44 or lock in a lifetime $44 a month membership to get access to all of this and free workshops month after month after month. Not free, but it's included with all the other bells and whistles. It's normally $66, so that's a $22 a month discount for life.
Hey,
if you enroll through the workshop.
We all like a discount.
Woo! I love being so weird. Okay, hey Tori, I love you. Thank you for hanging out.
Love you too.
We'll see you Thursday night.
All right, I'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.